Well, so as soon as you step inside the cabin of the Punch EV, you will have to keep a cloth with you. And the reason for that is that the AC controls and all the buttons over here are all touchscreen, or rather touch panel, and sometimes they do have a tendency to soil up easily with your fingerprints and stuff like that. So that's something that you will have to do. Keep cleaning it. I'm not a big fan of this setup, but it's quite okay, and I think people like it these days. The other big positive is that you get this huge touchscreen, which other Tata Motors cars now get. And I think that initially when we used to drive the early version of the Punch or even the Altros and stuff, we always said that the touchscreen really isn't that good, and now Tata Motors seems to really address it very well in their latest updates on their cars, and that's the case with this one also. So you can control the AC, you can use the stereo, you can choose the mood lighting, you can of course choose the app, the arcade.ev, and of course a lot of other stuff with this touchscreen. And of course the sound system also is quite good. You get completely digital dials as well, and of course you can change the look and feel of them also by pressing this button. So if you want completely only information over there of range and the speed you're doing, then you can do that. And of course if you also want the maps, you can do that as well. So it really is completely loaded in terms of the technology. Also in terms of features, you get 3 different regenerating modes, which means that you can use these pedal shifters behind and of course change the mode that you want, L1, L2 and L3. And what that essentially means is that if you put this car in the topmost mode of L3, then you can drive it with just the single pedal. Just the accelerator is okay, because the braking efficiency increases on that mode, and also what increases is the regeneration of the batteries, which means that the range also increases. So some people do use this very intelligently to only use the accelerator pedal and don't use the brakes. That's something that people do. Of course, quality has been improved. Overall quality is quite good, and of course the colors and all the materials are decent. The lower part of the center console though does suffer from a little bit of hard plastics, and even this part doesn't feel as solid as the rest of the car does. So maybe Tata Motors should think about improving it, but I think most people don't pay attention to this part, and that's why Tata Motors has put in some plastics which aren't of great quality on that lower end. Other than that, it's really impressive with the equipment list: automatic headlamps, automatic wipers, completely digital gauges as said. You also get automatic AC, wireless charger, of course over here you get different driving modes, and of course the rocker or the circular knob for the gear lever, and of course you get electric parking brake with auto hold function, along with everybody's favorite feature these days, a sunroof. It's an electric sunroof, so that's also quite a good feature. And of course you also get SOS button and stuff like that. But the best part about the Punch has always been its brilliant build quality, and it's no different on the E version of the car. Fantastic build quality. Just listen to that voice once again when you shut the doors. Feels very solid and feels like you're sitting inside a very sturdy and safe car. Seat comfort also is quite good. Excellent support for your lower back, good bolstering on the sides, and of course headrests also are quite good. I think the interior of this car deserves a very good score of 9 out of 10. It really is a very good package, and the highlight of course is this illuminated Tata logo on the steering wheel. Overall 9 out of 10. Let's have in the back seat and see how good those really are. Well, I'm sure by now all of you are aware that Woodmore are the online expert when it comes to spare parts. And the best point is that they have the spare parts for all vehicles available in India. So even if your car is out of production now, maybe you have a large generation model, even then they have the spare part available. They have the entire catalog. And the best point is that they have the same spare part from a host of different component makers, which gives you great flexibility in the pricing overall. So check them out today. Check out the app. It's available both for iOS as well as Android devices. And also check out the website for the latest schemes as well as offers. Well, so inside the cabin of the Tata Punch EV. Now, the best point about this car has always been that the doors, both in the front and in the back, open at a very nice 90-degree, which means that getting in and out is a really breezy affair. Other cars sometimes have their doors open till about 70 degrees or 60 degrees, but this one actually does open all the way up to 90 degrees, and this sound really is very confidence inspiring. So that's also big positive. Now, in terms of the space here, space is quite okay. You get decent room and adequate headroom, and my height for reference is 5'10". So in terms of the legroom and headroom, it's not a big deal. Also, the front seats have been raised up so you can stretch your feet. You get no AC vents and no charging sockets at the back, so that's a bit of a negative. There should have been at least charging sockets in today's day and age. An armrest is pretty good. And it's quite comfortable, to keep your hand over here. And once you stow it away and fold it in, you'll see that the seats are also quite nice. You get a nice 90-degree for your hip and knee. So in terms of the comfort also, it is quite good. It's not a very wide car, so 2 occupants at the back is best. 3 will be a bit of a tight affair, but if you have a small child, then that should be quite okay. The child will be comfortable on even the longest of long journeys. The only thing is that the backrest angle is slightly inclined. Could have been slightly better, maybe a couple of degrees or 3 degrees more towards the back. Would have been really nice, but I guess they had their own limitations in terms of packaging the car in the dimension, the capacity, in the segment that this car really is in. But I guess AC vents and even charging sockets should have been mandatory. You do get your own pockets at the back to keep odds and ends. And in terms of positives, the seats, the color is quite good. This grey and beige combination works quite well. And the windows are also nice and large. So the cabin of this car feels airier and bigger than the segment does suggest. Overall, backseat I'll give a decent score of 8 out of 10. Now let's show you the boot and then take this car out for a drive. Well, so let me show you the boot of the Tata Punch EV. Now, Tata claims that they haven't done any kind of compromises in terms of the boot space because they've adjusted the battery pack below the, the floor. So they haven't really made a big compromise. And it shows because you can see that 2 medium-sized bags can easily accommodate. I think you can easily accommodate a couple of more bags of the same size inside the boot, which is quite good. So if you plan on going over the weekend for about 250 or 300 odd kilometers, you can do it easily without any fuss. The only bit of negative is that there's a bit of a loading hill, but I think you can forgive it considering that this car is in the compact SUV space or the, entry-level SUV space. So I think you can easily forgive that loading hill. The boot in itself is quite decent and it's not a big compromise compared to the ICE version of the car. Usually, battery versions of the cars have big compromise on the boot, but not in case of the Punch EV. I think I'll give it a good score of 8 out of 10. Now let's take this car out for a spin and see how it drives. Well, so here I am driving the Tata Punch EV now. Now in this video, let's quickly tell you about the stats first on this part of the video. This car has a 421 kilometer range. That's of course a claimed figure. And when we started in the morning, the battery was showing about 98% and the range was showing about 330. So I'm sure that you will manage to eke out at least 300 odd kilometers from it in the mixed cycle, which is the city mode. You can of course increase it by using the economy mode, but economy mode, the drivetrain just lacks that outright power. You feel like you should have some power and some effort should be there. So city mode is the best mode to use. You could also choose the sport mode. Of course, again, the range drops by about 20 odd kilometers, but you can feel the difference in terms of the urgency that the drivetrain then displays. Apart from that, it's got a 35 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is quite good in its own right. And of course, the good point is that the driving bits of this car, the driving dynamics of this car are truly very good. The suspension really does deserve special attention and special mention on this car. It really is a fantastic car for people who drive a lot themselves and who will really enjoy driving this car because the suspension just soaks up the bumps without any fuss whatsoever. The ride comfort is truly exemplary. High-speed ride, slow-speed ride, bumps and potholes, everything is taken care of, everything is taken in stride, and nothing really disturbs the Punch EV. What's also quite good is the steering wheel feedback. The car gives you generally good feedback. The steering wheel is very well weighed. It's neither too heavy that you start feeling tired at the end of a long day, and neither is it so soft that you start feeling nervous, especially when you take it out on the highway like this. The visibility all across is excellent. You get very good views from all across. The side view mirrors are nice. You of course get this 360-degree bird's eye view camera. You can change the angles as well. Front view, back view, everything is quite good. And as I said, it's quite a nice car. Sport mode, if you put it in, you'll enjoy it because it just goes very fast and feels very urgent in that department. And just in general, it's a very positive car for people who are driving their first EV. If you're planning to buy a first EV, then definitely the Punch makes great sense. The compact dimensions, the light controls, and of course the excellent visibility where you can see the bottom line stuff makes great sense for you. Now some people might say that at this price, there's also the Mahindra XUV 400, which has just reduced prices recently. So should we check that car out? You can of course watch my video of that car by clicking on the link or typing in on the search button and finding that video for yourself. But we'll talk about that when we stop this car because yes, you're right. The space on that car is slightly better, and of course ride comfort also is equally good, and it feels like a bigger product. So yes, some pros and maybe some cons are definitely there on the Mahindra XUV as well. Now it's time for me to stop this car and give you a definitive verdict of which one you should consider buying. In the driving department, I'll give this car a good score of 90 out of 100. Well, so what is my final verdict with the Tata Punch EV? I have to say that this car really packs in a lot of features, a lot of equipment, and of course it also has that excellent ride comfort. It drives quite well, and being a Tata EV product, you also have a certain peace of mind factor, because we've already seen the overall reliability record of the Nexon over the last 4 years or so. This one is very good product in its own right, and I think that for a car which is primarily going to be used for city limits, this really is the perfect size compact SUV EV. Do check it out at a Tata EV dealership near you. I'm sure that you will enjoy sitting inside this car. It feels modern, plush, and very upmarket. Thanks guys so much for watching. I'll give this car a good score of 90 out of 100. Definitely one of the best EV packages out there.